America's national parks. You've heard of the popular ones. Yellowstone, the Grand Canyon, even Maine's Acadia ranks 6th on the list of most visited national parks. But this show isn't about popularity. We're about the fresh, the new, the underground stuff the hipsters are listening to. The up-and-coming kid on the National Park Service scene is this patch of trees right here, the Katahdin Woods and Waters National Monument. It's 87,500 acres of former timberland donated to the federal government by Roxanne Quimby, who helped found Burt's Bees. 2017 was the monument's first summer season. We went to check it out.
Look at us, we're camping.
I'm Dustin, that's Rachel, she's Julia. 3 occasionally clueless 20-somethings who work at a TV station. We're a reporter, producer, and photographer who got the chance to explore Maine, meet the people succeeding, the people struggling, and find out just what is there to do and see in a state almost as quirky as we are. In other words, we saw Maine by the mile. Created in 2016 by President Obama, the Katahdin Woods and Waters National Monument is one of the newest in the United States. To get there, you drive north on I-95, about 3 hours from Portland. It's easy to drive past the monument office in a little town called Patton. This donated home is actually Katahdin Woods and Waters HQ. It's the domain of Park Superintendent Tim Hudson, who has just a few credentials that make him perfect for the job.
You've lived a lot of different places. You worked for the National Park Service for 50 years.
Since 1967.
Run us through your career real quick.
I started off as a laborer at Kings Canyon National Park in 1967.
So we moved the poo-poo screen?
Moved back to Yellowstone, moved to the regional office in Anchorage for 12 years as the chief of maintenance and operations for all the parks in Alaska. Moved to Bangor in 2013, commuted for 3 years between Bangor and Staten Island. I was in charge of all the repairs from Hurricane Sandy.
Tim says Maine's weather is a little too hot for him. He hadn't seen 80 degrees in the 6 years before his move here. Luckily, he has adapted and is ready to give suggestions to Katahdin Woods and Waters visitors trying to make the most out of a quick visit.
So if you come here and you've only got about 24 hours, kind of like us, what do we have to see before we leave?
Well, most people that come in here, they get a taste of everything by coming in and doing the loop road. You get the views of the mountain, you get the lake, you can see the trails.
Oh, Jesus.
The last thing I want to ask about is the mustache.
Yes.
When did you start getting this awesome mustache, and why?
Well, I don't remember why. I thought it was a good idea. I was probably about 24. And I shaved it off once, and my wife said I looked younger than she did, and I grew it back again, and that's the story.
As exciting as Tim's handlebars were, we really needed to get our tent up before dark so we could take 5 and enjoy the scenery. Katahdin Woods and Waters has 2 main access points, one to the south for the loop road and another to the north. With help from Lynn Sanderson, who was sent by the MPS to work at the monument for the summer, we made our way into the wilderness.
We don't have any preconceived notions as to what the end product should look like.
Lynn is one of just a handful of employees and volunteers keeping the monument running. Like any startup shop, she has a whole bunch of different jobs. She's also tasked with helping park planners attempt to craft an Acadia alternative out of some gravel roads and greenery.
It's a wet glob of clay that we're looking to mold into something, and what that end product looks like, who knows right now.
A 25-minute ride from the park office is the Upper East Branch campsite, our main destination. It has all the creature comforts a creature native to Maine's woods would expect, like bugs. But it also has a premium riverfront view, picnic tables with a fire pit, and a luxurious pit toilet. That said, sacrificing electrical outlets and cell service gets you in the middle of moose country, and you won't pay a dime. Camping in the monument was free. No reservations, no fees, just grab your state fishing and fire permits, bring your canoe and hiking boots, and start scoping out a spot to look for moose.
If you want to wake up and go find a moose.
Oh, let me get my little crystal ball here and see where that might happen. The good news is yes, you can see a moose in the monument. What are your chances of seeing a moose in the monument? It depends upon the day. I've definitely seen moose along the loop road, but I've seen them, at what I would consider odd times of the day. Middle of the morning, standing on the loop road. Middle of the afternoon, standing on the loop road. 2 different areas of the loop road.
They're on their own timetables.
They're on their own timetables.
It's important to mention a number of folks in the Katahdin region don't have the time or means to adventure around like us. The land we got to eat blueberries and in essence play on was once a source of timber for big paper mills. In nearby towns like Millinocket and East Millinocket, the mills now sit quiet. The good-paying jobs with benefits they provided are gone. A few new forest products companies are expected to start up in the area, but high unemployment and strings of broken promises by other businesses have left many people hurting. Some are hopeless and not so keen on the whole monument thing.
She wanted to protect the forest, which is good. She has a good idea there. But for us to put it into a national monument, there's nothing to monumentize unless you're dedicating it to the paper industry up here.
Wendy Wood lost her job with an area school system after the paper machines stopped in East Millinocket. Years later, she still hasn't found a job as good as the one she had.
Do you like living here?
When I was working, yes.
What happened?
Lost my job because the mills went down. The seniors weren't going to graduate them. I didn't know if they were going to. They had to cut positions and cut back pay in order to graduate the seniors. It put me in a bind. And I've been sticking out best I can.
Desperation has divided towns between people like Wendy, who think the monument will constrain businesses, and people who think the monument will bring tourists and jobs in. Wearing my journalism hat, I tried to nudge Wendy into talking politics, but she wouldn't talk about red states or blue candidates, just how it feels to be unemployed.
Who understands people like you?
People who understand people like me are people who've been in the same boat as I have. Other than that, if they've had a cushy job, they don't understand it. They don't. If they got a $15 plus an hour paying job, they don't understand it. Because they've never hit rock bottom. They don't know what it's like to crawl on your belly. Maybe we can get some businesses in here. We need tax abatements and things like that to get businesses coming in. We have nothing.
Perhaps there is a lack of single large employers in the Katahdin region, but that doesn't mean folks are sitting idly around all day. There's all kinds of things to do, even in places you wouldn't expect to find anything. And some folks are capitalizing on it, even in places like this, the bustling metropolis of unorganized territory T6R8. Not a Star Wars robot, it's a real place.
This is the Foxhole Cabin.
This is where Joe Christensen and his family run the Matagamon Wilderness Campground and Cabins. As the name suggests, there are cabins and campsites. If you've ever wanted a Maine guide to show you the forest, wanted to go canoeing with someone who actually knows how, desired to go fishing out on a remote lake, or hunt bears, Joe's the guy to hit up.
Bears are very spooky, and everything has to be perfect, or they're not going to come into that bait.
Joe's family lives off the grid in the middle of the woods, just 15 minutes from our campsite at the National Monument. They make their own electricity.
Who has the blueberry?
That would be me. Thank you very much.
And really, really good pancakes.
When people come up here, what do you tell them about this spot? Because, for people who don't hunt and fish, I'm sure that they come through here every once in a while and you have to chat with them about, well, this is what it's like here.
Yep. No, a lot of people come through because they're going to Baxter State Park, and now with the new monument, they're going down to the monument. And it's just a neat place to be because everybody is on vacation. You know what I mean? So everybody wants to go do something, and plenty of hiking trails. And we do a lot of fishing. We're doing fly fishing class here today. Just a camping, the old-fashioned camping. Cell phones don't work here. They get here, and you can just unplug and cook s'mores by the fire.
Joe sees the National Monument as an opportunity to introduce people to the Katahdin region. He's already seeing a slight uptick in business. And how can you complain about more people stopping in your store to ask for directions? The debate over whether or not the Katahdin Woods and Waters National Monument is the region's second coming or a roadblock to business will go on as long as people like listening to themselves talk about their point of view.
What do I think about it? As far as I'm concerned, it's fine.
While that goes on, people like Joe and others will keep finding silver linings and will work to find solutions to the very real problems facing the area.
Either way you look at it, she already gave it to him. Complain all you want. The government ain't gonna give it back.
That's not the way it works, right?
That ain't the way it works, no. If somebody was gonna give me that, I sure would take it.
No matter where you stand on the monument matter, free camping with great views
Lovely Maine blueberries right outside your tent.
might be enough to entice you to make a trip to Patton and Millinocket. We popped a tire before we could get to what we were told are the best parts of Katahdin Woods and Waters, so we'll leave it to you to tell us what the rest of it looks like. If you have time, chat with the Mainers who you meet along the way. They're great folks who will help you out of a jam so you can see the sunrises and live in lighthouses we found when we saw Maine by the mile.